What I was thinking is that if you look back at the elections from 2016 to 2020, all of those elections were dominated by Donald Trump. And the Democrats did really well, better than you might say they should have in Virginia. In 2021, when Glenn Youngkin won and the Republicans took the House, my sense was that was a pandemic election, that people were extraordinarily frustrated with remote learning. They were now experiencing shortages, and inflation was coming, and the Democrats were slow to respond. And in some ways, that election really, I think, inflated Republican expectations a little higher than they should have been in Virginia, particularly in Northern Virginia. Because largely I think that neither Yesli Vega nor Hung Cao, who had these wonderful personal stories, were great candidates for the region in that sense. And the other point that we saw early in the data is that overall, Virginia went back to kind of normalcy in the votes, where all of those districts, we found that Glenn Youngkin's performance was higher than the performance of these congressional candidates there. So I thought we kind of went back to sort of normal times there. And what we saw from 16 through 20 is that the Democrats had an inflated sense of how they were performing that I think might have been evident in McAuliffe's performance in 21. And then I think the Republicans, in nominating Hung Cao and Yesli Vega, weren't really attentive to what was happening in Northern Virginia. And I'll just give one example. If you look at some of the conservative national news media, you would think that Loudoun County is the centerpiece of political debate in this country. When McAuliffe ran the first time in 2013, he carried it by 4.5 points. When he ran in 2021 against Glenn Youngkin, he carried it by 11. That in Northern Virginia, in Loudoun, Fairfax, and Prince William, Youngkin ran behind Ken Cuccinelli. And so for all of a sudden to think that candidates like Yesli Vega or Hung Cao were going to win in this region, I think was the same type of sort of inflationary expectation that the Democrats suffered from after, in the post-Trump election.